What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It is your boy, Coach D Brown, former major leaguer, former first-round pick with the Kansas City Royals. And like always, all right, I'm here to just promote the game, give you guys access, give you guys insight on information from major league coaches. The last couple of days, we had minor leaguers on, telling about the great game of baseball, the great bus rides, the great minor league life. My boy over here to my side, he knows all about that life all too well. But anyway, we have I met my coach over here, who I'm going to introduce right now in a little bit. I met him through a mutual friend of mine, and that's the beauty of this thing here, right? I bring on guests, and just, because of the momentum that's just gathering, I get opportunities to bring on, special guests that I feel like can offer great value to you parents that are listening in, all right? And so the great thing about it, because of my connection over there, shout out to my boy Matt Pascal out there and up there in New York. I'm hoping he's listening in sooner or later. But because of the connection over here with Coach Matt, a writer right here from Vassar, I got him. I reeled him in, and we've been talking a few days ago, and I knew from last week I was going to try to get him on here. So he just got finished raising capital yesterday for his college, and just doing all the beautiful things college coaches got to do. And so without further ado, I want to introduce. I'm kind of going and taking it back to near my hometown. I shown my New York love out there, right? To Vassar College head coach, all right, Matt Ryder. And Coach, appreciate you coming on. Hold on one second. Let me get my shout outs to my guys on. Let me say what's up to William in Jersey. Coach Terrace, what's up? Mr. Porges out there in Marlboro, what's up? Lance in Mississippi, what up? Chip in Nashville, what's up? Manny in Texas, what's going on? All right, I know it's bright and early. I know it's usually on a lot later, but again, I got to get him when I got to get him, and so I got him in here. So, Coach, if you could, man, just introduce yourself to my community over here, and just kind of go back from where you're from, and to how you got all the way to being the head coach at Vassar College, please.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, for having me on. This is great. I'm up here in middle of New York. We got some snow on the ground, so it's tough baseball weather, but we're doing okay indoors right now.
Oh, Lord.
But I grew up Western Pennsylvania playing all kinds of sports. I know people are specializing now, but the more kids we get playing 3 or 4 sports, the better. I love that. Dee, I know you played a couple sports.
Yeah, I was all right.
Yeah. So grew up there, Western Pennsylvania. I went to Johns Hopkins University, played basketball and baseball there in college, and was drafted by the Detroit Tigers, was in the minor leagues for 5 years, got to AAA as a pitcher. I had a couple guys ahead of me like Verlander and Sleeth and some of those guys, and I guess I just didn't cut it. But, for those who can't make it all the way like you did, Dee, I'm in coaching now, and I love it. It's best thing that's ever happened to me, coaching baseball here at Vassar College. I love it, and team's looking real good. So that's where I am now, and happy to be here on your show.
Nice, man. So, Coach, I appreciate you coming on too. So, if you could, man, Vassar, I know, growing up where I grew up over there in New York, Vassar was like, and I guess it has a name, worldwide. I didn't, but especially locally, it's a great school. I'm going to give you the form and just, talk a little bit about Vassar, talk about some of the alums, talking about where it's at, and a little bit about your baseball program at Vassar, if you could, man.
Yeah, I think when people think of Vassar, they think, first of all, like, isn't that a girls' school? And yeah, I get it. It was the first like all women's school. So
ever, right?
Yeah. So it's been over 60 years though since it's been co-ed, and baseball team has grown over time. This was my 3rd year here. The program has made the playoffs 4 times, and in my first 2 years, we made the playoffs twice. So that's a little bit of a self-tout, which is it's all good.
Oh, yeah, you need to. Yeah, I like it. Mm-hmm.
But we're recruiting kids from all over the country. We got a kid coming in next year from Kentucky. We got kids from Florida, California. We have a kid from the Philippines. So
Nice.
we got guys from all over the world coming to Vassar. It's a top 10 liberal arts institution academically. Like I said, the baseball team has made the playoffs the last 2 years. We're averaging right around 19, 20 wins a game season. And I think this year, next year we have an older group, some really talented kids coming in. I think you'll see in the next couple of years, we could be starting to look like a top 25 team. So it's, Vassar College has come a long way, and big time academic institution in the sports. All of our sports teams are making playoffs, making runs.
Nah, I mean, wow, I didn't realize, I mean, Kentucky, Florida, California, that's like, obviously it's mainly because of the academic, aspect of Vassar College that you're able to, acquire talent from South and West Coast, because a lot of colleges want that, those type of talents for those areas over there, right?
Yeah, part of that is the school, and then part of that is our staff. We're going down to Florida, we're going to Chicago, we're going to California, we're going to these places to recruit these kids. We have to. We can't. I'd love to get a couple kids from Marlboro. They got some good kids there at that high school.
I heard. Yeah. We put them out there,
Got to make sure those SATs are up though.
I know. I'm gonna ask about that. What are the like requirements for, to get into a Vassar? What are the, the GPA and the SAT requirements? And if you could give me ACT, because I know like here in the South over here, it's big ACT,
Sure. Most of the ACTs, we're looking for kids around 30 and up. We can occasionally get in like a 29. But SATs, the average is right around 1370. So that's ballpark where we're looking right now. And then for GPA, we look at core unweighted GPA. So we take out health, we take out gym, we take some of those out. We're looking at the core classes, and that has to be around a 3.65 core unweighted GPA.
Nice, man. Let me get my little shout outs for guys coming on. All right. Jake, Mississippi, what's up, baby? Javier, Arkansas, what's going on? Coach Terrace, I got you. I asked that question. Mark, Indiana, what's up? All right. And so I know being a Division III and the recruiting, obviously you guys are nationwide with this. What's intrigued me. I'm actually thinking about one or two guys I want to run your way when we get off the air. But so what are some of the challenges when it comes to recruiting? Not only Division III, it sounds like with you, your biggest thing is, the academic aspect, right? So, tell me some of the, recruiting challenges that Vassar College, faces.
Yeah. Vassar is not a cheap school. That's the first thing. It can be expensive, but at the same time, if you qualify for financial aid, you can get into the school and they'll take care of you. That's a very important piece. And, they don't look at that all up front. So if you don't have a lot of money, they're not going to say, well, we're going to pass on you and go to someone that does. It's blind. So that's a really important piece, that we can offer the educational opportunities to all people. So that's something that I try to talk about a lot when I'm recruiting. But that can be a challenge to some people more maybe in the middle class. It's something that we have to work out together. There aren't any scholarships. So that could be a little bit of a boundary when we're going up against some D1 schools, because we're looking at some kids that could go to a low D1 or D2. They're getting scholarship money, and we can't offer that, but we can say, look how great this education is going to be. And let me tell you about our program and how beautiful this field is. And, but that is also a possible obstacle. When we're out on the road, we don't have an unlimited budget. So we have to go to certain places where it makes sense, where we can see a lot of people. And we also want to make sure we're going places where we know kids are going to have the academic requirements. So if that makes sense.
No, I totally get it. So what are some of the places that Vassar, showcases or something that where you guys attend, that, you've been pretty much going, regularly for the last year or so,
So some of the bigger ones like Head First, Play to Win. We look a lot of the Perfect Game stuff. You know, all of those bigger showcases around the country, you'll see us there at those showcases. And they're in the bigger cities. So Chicago, out in like San Francisco area, LA, down in Florida, Fort Myers. I got to get down to some of like maybe Georgia, and I know East Cobb. So occasionally we'll get down there. But you know, we got a kid out of Kentucky who's coming next year. And we saw him at a camp at, I believe that was Richmond. So we were down there, and also, you know, if we're not seeing the kids in person, we have people all over the country that I've, you know, built relationships with that are saying, hey, coach, you got to check this kid out. Right. Just like you're going to say, hey, I got 2 or 3 kids you got to look at. Right. We rely on that quite a bit when we don't have a huge budget for recruiting.
That's
important.
Yeah, shout out to Pascal. He just joined on right now too. So, but yeah. So yeah. Now that's I like. Can you like? I like how you said that. Even at Division III level, because everybody get caught up in the division. I talk a lot about a large amount from when I'm talking strictly for that kid that is a very good player that necessarily, you know, it's not academic driven, but more baseball driven. You know, I talk heavy about the junior colleges, but you know, you're my first Division III guy to come on, and which I love. But you're telling me that you get Division I caliber guys, but will step down to maybe a Division III Vassar maybe because of the academics. So you're able to maybe get a D1 caliber kid to come down. Is that you know what you're saying to me?
Yeah, I mean, you know, at our level, I mean, understand that Vassar right now, Vassar baseball, we're not a top 25 program yet, right? You give me a year or two, you're going to start to see that based off the type of recruiting that we're doing. So for this class and next class, I think if you talk to a couple people, they're going to say, yeah, there's a couple kids there that probably could have went D1. You know, there's a lot of D1 schools looking at these kids. At my alma mater, Johns Hopkins, I mean, that's a perennial top 25 team that is pulling kids that are top 10, top 20 kids in their state going to that school.
Wow.
So we're now recruiting the same type of kid. So, you know, that's a conversation when we're talking to kids that are looking at D1 schools, like, how can we separate ourselves and make it make sense for them to want to join a program like ours? Because it is different, you know, but we have some kids that could possibly get drafted.
I'm going to talk about that a little bit later about that, but you know, let's talk about a typical, you know, you're about to go to top 25. I mean, so Division III, they have, you know, top 25, man. I'm forgive me, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning. Okay. So, you know, I learned a lot from having all you guys come on. I learned something every day. So of course, I know you have top 25. So tell me some of the, you know, tell me a little bit about your conference. What's your schedule like? And kind of, if you could elaborate to, you know, where's the, you know, Division III College World Series and, you know, those places and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, I'm just going to pull something up real quick. So we have 40 game schedule, and we'll go down to Florida. We are in the Liberty League. So teams like Rochester, Skidmore, Clarkson, Bard, trying to think of some other schools right now. Union, they've been phenomenal. So, you know, we're playing teams like that. The top 25 teams at Cortland State every year is going to be an incredible team. They're phenomenal.
Really?
So
they were football school too, right? Back in the day.
We're not football. But like Cortland State has always been very good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I know they've been decent at football back in the day when I was in high school. Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but we just switched over where our College World Series is. And I'm drawing a blank on where we're going.
Really? Coach?
I haven't thought about it, to be honest, since
well, where has it been? Where has it been?
That was in what Division I's, what, Omaha?
Yeah.
And we are now in
no, where has it been though? If you don't remember this year, where is it? The switch every year or what? How does it work?
No, I'm drawing a blank. Not Omaha. I always think of Omaha. I'm gonna have to get back to you. I'm drawing a
All
blank.
right. Okay. Yeah. All right,
Some
coach.
D3 coach I am.
Yeah. So you guys go down to Florida. Is that so? You got out. Obviously, you guys got to do that every year, right? I mean, just to get out of the weather in March, right? So
Last year we went to California.
Oh, nice. Really?
But this year we're going back down to Florida. We went to California just because we have so many recruits that are out there and parents that are out there that want to see their kids. So every 3 years we're going to go to probably California or something out west.
I would. That's awesome, man. So would you say outside of, let's say, the tri-state area, as far as kids, what would be your number one area as far as recruiting ground? Is it California that the amount of kids, or is it just everywhere?
Appleton, by the way, Appleton, Wisconsin.
Really?
That's where the D3 championship's been.
Oh, Appleton. Okay. All right. I'm about to say, like, you get recruits from Appleton. I'm like,
I have a play called Appleton 1-2. I have a play called Appleton 1-2. It's a bunt coverage that we run. So
right.
Sorry, D.
I remember that used to be a Midwest team, right? Midwest League team out there, right?
Yeah. There is, and that's where we would play. I actually played there as a minor leaguer. I went and played there. I think I gave up 5 runs. It was freezing cold in Wisconsin. I gave up a dinger to left center.
Yeah, I remember. I never played in that league, but I've known guys who have played and at Appleton. So that's cool. All right, so let me say, Daniel out in Texas, what's up? I'm gonna get you guys questions, man. Remember, you know the routine. I'm gonna get through my little basic questions, and then you guys come in. Danny, what's going on? Corey, what up? Eusebio, what's up? Rick, Queens, New York, what's up? All right, so we guys are joining in a little bit. So the now as far as the conference, I know you said Cortland State, and I know you kind of hinted about this, but are guys getting drafted out of your conference, or your area over there, Division III wise, and kind of explain, because I'm sure each parent only listening probably thinks, oh, I love the academic aspect, but let's just say my kid is good enough. Is he getting looked at here? Can he have opportunity to go get drafted?
So first of all, like, your better teams are probably going to have more kids with opportunities to get drafted, right? And for us, we haven't been a top 25 team yet, and but we have a couple kids now that have the skill set. And we have a switch hitting kid that has got 95 to 98 mile an hour exit velocities. He's got that type of pop, like, from both sides.
Wow.
So, and he's got a strong arm and he's fast. Like, that's a kid that could potentially get drafted, right, if he puts together a good year. We have another young pitcher coming from Texas who's a freshman for us, who's 86. But boy, if he leaves this place throwing 90, 92, you think he's got a shot to get drafted? Hell yeah. So I was drafted out of a D3 school. I've worked with a couple kids. We had a kid go to the Red Sox, kid go to the Orioles, kid go to the Cardinals when I was down at Hopkins. Nice. And I'm not saying that I'm going to have kids drafted this year yet, which we might. But I could see in a couple of years you get 1 or 2 kids occasionally from our league. 2 years ago, we had an outfielder that got drafted. Another year before that, there was a lefty pitcher that got drafted. I think he might be going to the big leagues maybe this year, from what I've heard. Nice. There was a couple kids throughout the country, D3, that got drafted. It doesn't happen as much, but if you're a serious program and you're developing kids the right way and getting the right talent that's projectable. I brought in a scout this past fall to talk to our guys and watch them play and work out. He's coming back to watch us in Florida to take another look at our one kid, our switch hitting kid.
Nice, man. I like to think, because of where you've been and, parents listening in, obviously this guy's played professional baseball, knows what talent is, and he just said it right then and there that he's played Division III and got drafted and basically knocking on the door in the big league, to the big league. So so if he's sitting and saying, hey, Division III, I can get you drafted or give you opportunity to get drafted, he's a living example. So, which is great. I'm learning again. I don't know how many Division III guys I probably played with, a lot of guys or against them. But I just, you know how the pro game, you could care less about where somebody's from college wise. But that's pretty, that's awesome that, you can walk into a home and talk to a recruit and be like, listen, I'm a Division III guy who, made it all to, AAA and it was knocking on the door in the big leagues. And, come to my program, I could, train you up. And if you have, obviously you have to have the talent to be at that level, but I can give you every opportunity, and you got the connections, it sounds like, right?
That's a big piece. If you don't have a coach that fights for you or has the connections to help you out, like, you're not going to have as good a chance, because it's not like we've got scouts just beating down our doors to come watch our guys play. Like, I have to help with that process. So I think if that's something that is really important to you, that you want to have a chance to get to that next level, you have to go where the coach is willing to work with you and has some type of network to help you get to that next level.
Nah, it's pretty awesome, man. That's what's up, man. Kudos to you, man. We Miss Sheree, Callie, what's going on? They're waking up early for you, coach. But anyway, I'm gonna get to you guys' questions now. Write them up, and I will tell Coach right up, and he will answer them. We got first question is Coach Terrace down here in Mississippi. Do you think it's hard to recruit? Do you think it's hard to recruit a player to come to New York weather-wise?
That's a challenge. Yeah, that's a good question. And every time that comes up, like, our fall season is beautiful. That's not an issue. If you come up in the fall, you think it's the best place in the world. Right now, it's cold. We got actually all the snow melted from this past week. We got a pretty good storm. So if it was dry for a couple of days, we could be out on the field. But we go on a trip down to Florida for 10 days every year. When we come back, we're ready to go. Once you get to the end of March, it's usually pretty good. But if a student is looking at weather as the determining factor, they're probably going to go to a school in the South compared to the North. But if their determining factors are education, a combination of the education and the baseball, then I think Vassar competes with anyone. But yeah, it's a good question.
All right. What's the average cost per year?
We're up around $70,000.
Nice, man.
But like I said, you keep that in mind, viewers. Like, there's a financial aid piece to this, and they don't want to turn away kids because of money. But if you can afford it, D, then we're gonna have to have your kids come to Vassar, and you have to pay. You have to pay some coin.
Yeah, that's some serious. Woo, Lord.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
But Arthur, eventually I'll get to the YouTube, Arthur. All right. Daniel asked, and I think he got his question answered because you said this just in your speaking, but do you guys recruit Texas guys?
Yeah, like I said, we got a kid who's a freshman from Texas. Went to the Military Institute, was it VMI? One of the military institutes down there. Who's a really nice player. I think he's got potential to go to that next level at some point if he keeps developing. I mean, he's a freshman, ability to throw 86, 87 with a nasty splitter, high legs, like he projects. So if he continues to develop, he's that type of kid. In fact, I'm looking at possibly going down, maybe to Texas, maybe to play some games at some point. Maybe instead of Florida in a couple of years, we go down to Texas. I wouldn't mind getting down to some camps. I have not been down there recruiting. I saw that kid at a camp in California, but we're building up a lot of connections in Texas. And that's that's an up and coming place, because you got a lot of D1s, you got a lot of big time D1s down there, but you don't have a lot. You have some of the high academic D3s, but some, like your third, fourth, fifth pitchers could be dominant at our level, right? They don't have as many opportunities. So we got to take advantage of that.
All right. So I hope you hear that, Daniel. I hope you hear that, Manny. All right. Let me see. Corey, I appreciate it, man. All right. I hear that a lot. I know this may sound like a crazy question, but how do a coach get get connected? Like, how does a coach get connected? I don't know. I mean,
well, I could look at that a couple, like how you can get connected. Like if you wanted to
you said to help kids get in a better position, I guess, draft wise or something, I guess,
Yeah, I mean, coaching and recruiting, like it's like dating.
Yeah.
I mean, like that first point of contact, just like all information is up on the website. Like shoot me an email, mreiter@vassar.edu. I have people reaching out all kinds of ways. Everything online is the easiest way to make that first point of, contact. That could be at any point, and I respond to every message I get. So you email me today, I'll get in touch with you within the week. It's just a busy week. All right, get back to you today. I think that's the first part. Like we're not trying to lock a kid up on the first point of contact. So there's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7 other points where we're trying to get information, video, send some video, whenever. We would always like to see them play in person if possible, whether it's coming up here or us going to see them. But sometimes, like if I'm recruiting a kid from Texas and I'm not planning on going to Texas, I may have to rely on some people I know who've seen them, or the video, or an independent group that is doing the evaluation. But I think just communication, that's the key.
Awesome, man. What up, Tony? What up, Dash? All right. We got Arthur. With no scholarship money, is there any help the school can provide for student or players?
I'm assuming financially. Yeah. We have some guys, they treat all the students equally. So, the athletes aren't going to get special treatment. But for just talking about our guys in that context, we have probably half our team that has work study opportunities where they're making money while they're here doing some extra work, which usually like sitting at a desk doing their homework, just keeping an eye on a room, and they're making money doing it. And like I said, the financial aid, we had a kid apply a couple years ago who was a triplet, single mom, and had to pay like $4,000 a year. So like that's a really good example how a kid and a family got this incredible opportunity that didn't have the money, and the school took care of it. So I think anyone that's listening, like if you're not sure, like let's just feel it out first. Like they have forms, they have some different forms online that you can check without going into a ton of detail. There's like a 6-point checklist that you check, and it'll give you a pretty good idea of how much you would have to pay.
Nah, yeah, that's a hell of a deal, man. Yep. Manny on Texas asks, what are the things that college coach looks for in a player? Is there room to improve, or are you looking for ranked players, etc.? Basically, are you looking for ready-made players, or are you doing any type of developing once they get to college?
Combination of both. If I see a kid throwing 86 to 88, that's a high academic kid, like obviously I'm going to be checking that kid out and doing whatever I can to get him. But like, I mean, me personally, like we have a kid that's a 6'6" kid that was throwing 78, but his arm worked, right? So like, what do you think I'm thinking there? Like that kid has potential, 6'6", like he's going to put 5 to 8 miles an hour on. And by the time he's a junior, he's throwing 86, 87 miles an hour. Now he's a legit guy for us. So same for position players. Like, let's say they're undersized. I know outfielders, D1, like they're looking for guys now that are 6'3" and bigger, or they're not going to have a shot. If I got a kid that's 5'10" that can fly, right? Like, his WAR or whatever you want to look at our level is going to be pretty good.
Right.
So how can you get bases? So I don't know. I look at the whole package. We're in a day now where we're looking at all the metrics from HitTrax and Rapsodo and, all the technology, but there are other things that we will look at. Like, you have a kid that's overcome some type of adversity, like, and he's doing real well. Why would we not want that kid? He's going to help our team get to the next. He's bringing something different than just metrics to our team. He's bringing a type of leadership that will, like, that's a transformational quality that will affect all the other players on our team. So we look for that too.
I love it though. I love it, man. All right. Coach Terrence is assistant coach here at Mississippi Valley State. I'm not pumping him to the school, but he said he would love to come up and connect over the summer to pick your brain on pitching. But that's what he says to you. But anyway, all right. He said, with high academic acceptance and tuition north of $70K, how many recruits do you look to bring in each year?
So, by the way, tuition is, I think it's in the 50s now. The total cost is around the $70,000. I guess we're splitting hairs at the $78,000 mark.
I'm naive to this. This is D Brown's question. What does that mean? All right. What is 58,000 and 70,000 in total?
Yeah. So there's a cost of tuition, and then there's like housing and food and books and all of that on top of it. So the tuition number somewhere there in the 50s. And then you put all those other fees on top, it ends up being around 70. So I guess when people ask tuition, I should probably give them the lower number.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all included, right? Wow, 70 racks. Okay. Well,
but I'm sorry, what was the question there? I missed the question.
Yeah, that was well, how many? I'm sorry. Yeah, how many recruits do you look to bring in each year? Because of the the high tuitions, how many recruits are you bringing in each year?
So I don't always have a specific number. It depends on the team at that time. So last year I didn't feel we needed a lot of numbers. I brought in quality for this past year, so we only brought in 4. 4 with a walk-on who will make the team. For next year, our 2019 class, we have 13 kids coming in. For the 2020 class, it's probably going to be somewhere in the 6, 7, 8 range. And we'll look at certain positions specifically. We'll always bring in a couple pitchers, but we have 13 coming in for this coming year.
Nice. I'm gonna talk to you behind the scenes what you're looking for your 2020s, all right? But I got a couple. All right. But anyway, Tony asks in California, do you guys mainly recruit or do you guys also take walk-ons? And if so, have you guys ever had a walk-on be successful in your program? You beat me to the punch. But yeah.
That's a good question. At Hopkins, I'll preface this at Hopkins. I want a quick story. We had a kid that was a walk-on. And Hopkins had like 70 kids in the fall because there were so many walk-ons, right? And they had a little bigger roster than what we had. But they had a kid that got cut his freshman year. He got cut his sophomore year, came back. He was okay, but he wasn't that great. Junior year, he comes back, ended up being like all conference. His last year, he was the national player of the year.
What?
So like that is such a great success story where this kid just kept coming back and wanted it so bad and eventually made it. And because I think he dealt with that type of adversity, he overcame that and was the best in the country.
Wow.
So awesome story. I will always give opportunities to walk-ons in the fall. They'll have 16 days we play a lot of games and scrimmages in the fall. So, they'll get as many opportunities as everybody else in the fall. We'll probably have 40 kids in the fall, and then we'll break that down. We'll get down to about 33. But I'm also really thoughtful with our recruiting. I don't try to over recruit at this place. I wouldn't want to bring a kid in, have him paying close to $70,000 and then cut him. So I try to be thoughtful with that. But yeah, I'm open to walk-ons. Absolutely.
Nice. Tell me a little bit more about your facilities. I know you talked about certain things you guys purchased for your indoors and stuff. Like, can you tell the audience about your facilities?
Yeah, right now we've got Walker Fieldhouse. It fits about 5 indoor tennis courts. You take the tennis stuff down. We could basically run an infield, outfield inside Walker Fieldhouse. It's that big. We have 2 drop-down nets that it takes about 5 minutes to put them up and 5 minutes to take them down. They're the phantom cages. So we use those. Got a bunch of T stations set up. We have technology to go with that. We have the Rapsodo, which is measuring all the spin rates and everything. We got to stay on top of our technology game. And then we just got hit tracks. which thanks to some of the people helping us fundraising, we were able to afford that piece of technology. Our kids love that technology. So when we're indoors, they get to go to Yankee Stadium on hit tracks and see how far they're hitting the ball. So they love it. And then I share all that information with our scouts too. So they can say, I can give them how I feel about our kids, and then I can say, look, here's the data, and how it matches up with your other big leaguers, how this guy should be a potential prospect. So we have that all indoors. And then when we go outdoors, we have our cage set up. It's a single cage right now. The baseball playing surface is one of the nicest natural fields in the Northeast. People would not necessarily think that, but when you get out there to that field, it's under snow right now, but it's beautiful. Nice, man.
I know that whole area up there. I can attest, man. And I love what you said about in the fall, because just, when I think about home and stuff, that's one of those things that I think about is the fall time up there. You gets muggy in the summers, man, but you can't beat fall weather, and you can't beat the scenery up there. And I've only been up that way a couple of times up there, Vassar, but I know it's a beautiful school, decent area up there.
When you come back up, we'll have you come throw some batting practice.
I need to come over there and critique. I'm gonna be over there trying to strike dudes out, especially with the hit tracks, make them look crazy. But anyway, okay. I'm talking junk. But anyway, I have Tony asks, "What's up, Laura Ray? What's going on? Daedric, what's up? Arkansas in the house. What's up? Does your school give a spending amount for recruiting? For example, giving you an amount to give a kid a full ride scholarship to your school to play baseball?"
No, unfortunately, at Division III, no scholarships for baseball, unfortunately.
All right. Yeah, Arthur. All right. Technology changes dynamics in the game, spin rate, launch angles. Yep, you're right, Coach. So yeah, they again, put your last questions in. So listen, so Vassar College, what are some of the? I mean, I put your email in the comment section, Coach. Now, what are some of camps? Are you having, summer camps, or I know the winter? You guys are, getting ready to, start the season in the next few weeks now. But, how can players and parents and everything involved with my program, how and community, how can they get up and see, are you holding any camps, anything like that? Is what I'm trying to say.
We were thinking about running something in the summer, but there's so many events that we go to that are established already. Like, we have to go to those events. So for us, instead of doing it in the summer, which if anyone's interested in where we're going, like, email me. I'm happy to share that information with you. We don't post it. We try not to necessarily market those camps, but I'm happy to tell you where we're going to be, especially if it's close to you. But what we do is we have one coming up February 17th. We have an event that it's a smaller event where guys are coming in and hit. We're going to get them on hit tracks. We're going to get them on Rapsodo. I'll talk to all the pitchers. I don't want guys throwing their arms out early in the season, but at this point of the year, guys should be throwing to get ready for their season. So we'll complement their throwing programs and see what they're capable of at the time. So we want to be responsible with that. And then we will have something in the fall, most likely in September at our place. We will start putting that stuff up on the website in the near future. But we had a play to win event at our place last fall. We had 120 kids at the camp.
Nice, man. I've been hearing a lot, man, over the last couple of years, man, especially last year and a half, man, the head first, right? And I'm sure you guys being the high academic, school that you are, I mean, is that pretty much your staple at those events or what?
Yeah. To be honest, we have to go to those events, and I'm sure people are aware, like, coaches get paid to go to those events. So coaches will go to those events because it helps with the budget, especially if you have a smaller budget, and you're going to have 200 kids that are going to qualify academically. The problem is that you end up getting kids that go to those events that can afford it. And that's not always fair to certain groups of kids that can't. Mm-hmm. So that's something, like, it's a problem in baseball, the industry. And that's something I'm trying to be really mindful of. And I have a buddy at the NCAA. I'm actually talking to a couple people in the industry about trying to do some events for academic kids that can't normally afford it. So we're working on that. Indeed, maybe that's something we could talk about, because in the game of baseball, like, you're seeing some trends right now that we don't want to see.
It's awesome. We definitely need to do, especially down here. I got some things I've got going on. Perfect timing for this. But anyway, Terrence asks, what's an everyday student's life like at your college? You know what I'm saying? Kind of giving it, everyday occurrence. What is a day in the life in a student at Vassar?
Well, right now our guys are getting up for 6 a.m. practices. So they're getting up early, and then they're sprinting to the field house, make sure they're on time. And then after that, they usually all go together for breakfast at the cafeteria, which cafeteria's just been redone. Beautiful cafeteria, really good food options. And then most of our kids, we got guys that are econ or finance, public health. We got guys going down the pre-med track, all the languages. We have one guy that's in music who, it's our one kid that could get drafted. He may go Major League Baseball or Nashville. Like, he could go either way. We get those types of kids. It's awesome.
Wow.
So, we, for those guys, they may have 3 classes a day. And then we have another practice in the evening. So they'll have their classes, they'll have time, take a nap. I mean, it's the only time in your life really where you have a ton of time on your hands, but they have to organize their time. So, all right, I got an hour and a half where I could do my studying in the middle of the day. Then I got practice. Then I got to make sure I eat. They have to have an organizer to stay on top of it. But if you do, like, you can schedule all of your time, you get everything done. You just have to be on top of it.
I love it. I will Bill asks, with no scholarships, what is offered to get kids to come to your school? How do you recruit? Is there a sports grant or something?
Unfortunately, it's not ever going to be a conversation about money. The only conversation would be check the financial aid. And that's at the Division III level completely. There are going to be some areas that, like in the Northeast, you have a bunch of D3 teams, right? As you get further south, you're going to see more D2, D1. You don't have a lot of D3 teams. So it doesn't surprise me that people wouldn't know that so well. And part of that is just, we have to get out and have that conversation more with people. So when I'm talking to recruits and their families, like let me tell you about what our kids are doing after they graduate, right? If you get a degree from Vassar, the average salary that you're making coming out of our school is going to be $100,000. If when you graduate from another school, their average is $40,000. So like, it's going to pay in the end. That's how we have to look at it. Don't fact check me on that exact salary, but the point is, it's going to be significantly higher than some of our other competitors. The other thing is, in terms of going to grad school, anyone applying to grad school, if they do well here at Vassar, they're going to get in to the very top grad schools. That's also a really big deal for our kids, and a determining factor for kids choosing between schools.
Awesome. All right. Well, Coach, please post camp dates on DB Sports Recruiting Services. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna talk with you behind the scenes, and we'll definitely just tell me where you guys are going to be and stuff. On top of a couple players I'm gonna talk to you about too. But anyway, yeah, it's multitasking here. You know what I'm saying? I bring you on over. I talk a little bit. I kind of get a feel, and I'm like, man, okay, Yep. I mean, shout out to my boy Pascal, man. I mean, I know how good Vassar was, but again, I didn't know, Name some of the alums that have been there. Matter of fact, if you can, I know one off the top of my head because that was like something that's always said when I was back there.
like, I mean, it's gonna be more of the famous women, like Meryl Streep. Like, she was a famous grad. What's her name from Friends? Phoebe.
Oh, really?
She was here the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
And wasn't Barbara Walters too, right?
Was she? I don't know.
One of them reporter chicks. One of the reporters. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say reporter. Like, anyway, excuse me. I don't want to be politically incorrect. But
seriously, come on, Dave. You're not gonna get.
I gotta clean it up. But I want to say Barbara Walters, because that was the big thing when I was over there. They used to say like she went. One of those big time reporters went there. Diane Sawyer, one of them. Or I want to say
maybe, right. Sure. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm bad. I'm over here just giving people, Anyway, listen, man. Parents, that if you have any other questions, going once, going twice. All right. So listen, Coach, if you could, to finish this up, and I appreciate you taking out your time, man, this morning. And if you could kind of just, if can you give a little message to my parents listening in? Just about the grind, or even about the school, or just something, your final words, that you can leave my parents with, Coach, if you could.
It is whatever you make of it. And it can be a very stressful process, but it can also be a really fun and enjoyable process if you allow it to be. I think all of those camps, if you have someone that can mentor you and help you prepare for it, and you feel good going in, like, just let it hang out. Just let it all hang out, and try to enjoy it. We talk here at Vassar about, kind of like, I don't want to offend anyone here, but like Nick Saban stuff, Belichick stuff, like get your job done kind of mentality. Mm-hmm. But when you hit a double, like if you're focused on those jobs, going to those camps or whatever, like, and then you hit a double, go ahead and celebrate that. Like, have fun with it. Build time in to have some fun. I think that's important to have that balance through this process. And, I talk to the coaches. Like, if you email me, like, give me a call, like, I'm going to be happy to not only help you through the Vassar process, but guide you, in another way, or try to introduce you to someone that might make a little more sense. One other thing I would say is check out the coaches or the team's social media. That gives you a pretty good idea of the feel of the inner workings of that program. If you like, Vassar Baseball is for Instagram, Vassar Baseball for Twitter. We have a page on Facebook also. The Facebook page is kind of new. But if you were to go on there right now, like, we're just coming off of a major fundraising campaign. You'll see like a lot of videos of our kids, funny, quirky group that are pretty creative, come up with some really good ideas. You're going to see a little video there of our new 5-month baby girl rooting on Vassar Baseball. But check out those coaches or teams' social media. That'll give you a pretty good feel of what's going on at those programs.
Awesome, man. All right. Last question quickly came in. And also my boy Bill did a little homework. Jackie Kennedy graduated, and Jane Fonda.
There you go. All right. Hey, I learned something new.
Right. I'm trying to figure. I'm still sticking with my Barbara Walters or something. I promise you.
Someone fact check him.
Yeah, please. What's the school's enrollment?
About 2,500.
Okay. All right, that was the last question.
The campus is pretty good size, but the class itself, the population of the school is about 2,400, 2,500.
All right. All right. So listen, Coach, been a pleasure, brother. I know everybody always thanks you too, man. Definitely got to keep in contact. Appreciate Pascal linking us up, man. And good luck to you this season down there in Florida in a few weeks. Enjoy that warm weather. Go get some dubs down there. I'll definitely be in contact. I know everybody here appreciates you, man. And listen, for the people still listening in, here you are. You got a dude that basically played many years in the pro game. came from a Division III school, so he knows again, he's a living example of how, you can go, if you do what you got to do, you can get drafted. He's taking over a great academic program. And he's also been there, done that. That's the main thing. I mean, I can't stress that enough. Some of these college coaches, especially, you know way more than I do, Coach, but some of these guys don't have the necessary background. They may have been in the college game and good coaches, but it's a little different to be, a college coach and played pro. You know what I'm saying? He knows what it takes, literally knows what it takes. And that's what you get with Coach, Ryder right here. So, Coach, again, I appreciate you coming on, big dog. It's been a pleasure. And, I thank you. And so anyway, real quick plug for the rest of my guys still listening in. I got some real big things. And I know we had an issue. Coach is hanging in with me 1 second, and I'll get you off it. I know I put up a post for my boy Orlando Hudson. He was supposed to do a speaking engagement in Chicago tomorrow, but I don't want you guys thinking like he was supposed to come on my show tomorrow. All right, he's not. But I'm also plugging in that, saying that next month, we are planning something huge between the both of us. So I'm gonna keep plugging that up, but and the dates will come up. But next month we are planning something huge together. And my boy Orlando Old Dog Hudson, Coach, you remember Old Dog, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So anyway, we are planning something pretty huge over here, and just a little, just plugging that in, and we're gonna talk a little baseball, but we got something planned in the future, real dope. So anyway, I'll see you guys next week. I got tentatively, right now, I got former first-round pick, a New York Met, Lasting Millage coming on. You're going to talk about the ins and outs, ups and downs of playing with pressure, playing for New York, being a top prospect. I also have a couple of college coaches coming on, small school guys coming. I just, I love speaking from all levels, man. And Coach, you're my first D3, so I'm learning as I go too, Coach. So I appreciate that. All right, man.
Good stuff. Thanks, D.
All right, Coach Ryder, we signing off, man. Appreciate you, brother. I'll say peace and love to all you guys. I'm not going to come on this weekend. I'll see you guys Monday. All right, we keep this ball rolling. Peace and love to you guys, Coach. I appreciate you, man.
Go Brewers.
All right, we go.